Let's jump right into this explosive June 16, 2026 threat report from Tech and Morning. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking how everything from enterprise AI to foundational cloud infrastructure and even massively popular plugins are rapidly becoming our newest cyber battlegrounds. We'll look at what's happening and, crucially, how you can defend yourself.
Okay, so here's our agenda to help us make sense of all this chaos. Section 1, AI's new attack vectors. Section 2, cloud and network espionage. Section 3, the supply chain trap. 4, we'll take a quick detour into consumer tech updates. And 5, the future of cyber defense.
Section 1, AI's new attack vectors, weaponizing Copilot and light LLM. Let's start with the shiny new tools everyone is so eager to adopt.
I want to start with this stark number right here, just 1. Because unfortunately, 1 is the exact number of actions a victim needs to take to lose literally everything in their enterprise environment.
That single solitary click triggers a highly critical new vulnerability called Search Leak, which affects Microsoft 365 Copilot. What makes Search Leak so absolutely devastating is how it bypasses traditional anti-phishing tools entirely. We're talking complete theft of sensitive emails, OneDrive files, and, crazily enough, even your multi-factor authentication codes.
It's honestly like a digital Trojan horse, and Varonis laid out exactly how this anatomy works. It's a 3-stage attack. First up, prompt injection. The attacker hides invisible instructions inside what looks like a totally normal email. Next, Copilot reads that email, silently executes those hidden instructions, and scrapes your data. Then comes the genius part, the link bypass. It uses trusted Microsoft.com links to send your data straight back to the attacker. Your firewalls just see everyday Microsoft traffic, so they wave it right on through.
But wait, it gets worse. It's not just Copilot. Obsidian Security found a terrifying chain in Light LLM, the popular open-source gateway used to connect to over 100 different AI models. Basically, a low-level user can exploit a flaw to leak API keys, use those keys to escalate themselves to a full admin, and then completely hijack the server. In one fell swoop, they snatch your OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google master keys. Game over.
So look, you have to take these immediate actions to lock down your AI infrastructure today. First, patch Microsoft 365 and Light LLM immediately. Restrict what data your AI can actually access using data loss prevention. And above all else, you've got to start treating your internal AI tools with the exact same zero-trust mentality you'd apply to a shady external network.
Section 2, cloud and network espionage. Breaching the old guard.
Okay, this massive number right here, 9.8 out of 10. That is the critical threat score for a terrifying new Cisco vulnerability, officially tagged as CVE 2026-2062. That is a hair-on-fire alert level.
And here's how these real-world zero-day attacks on Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN vManager are actually going down. Centralized management is great for network admins, right? But it makes it an absolute golden target. Advanced persistent threats, highly organized hacker groups are out there finding public vManaged servers, exploiting this 9.8 flaw to completely bypass passwords and establishing permanent backdoors right into the network. They're essentially grabbing root access without even knocking.
And honestly, this points to a massive paradigm shift in cyber espionage. Instead of dropping noisy, highly detectable traditional malware, threat actors are just living off the land. A Chinese-linked APT recently infiltrated RedCap servers used for medical research, and they didn't deploy a single piece of malware. None. Instead, they just abused legitimate Google Workspace forwarding rules to silently copy every incoming and outgoing email. They sat completely undetected in North American, medical, academic, and military networks for over 12 months, just blending in with normal network traffic for over a year.
To stop these foundational attacks, you urgently need to deploy these specific protections. For Cisco, update vManage right now, and make sure you restrict its management interface so it is only accessible via VPN. For your cloud environments, audit those Google Workspace forwarding rules today. Enforce MFA across the board, and please, implement User and Entity Behavior Analytics, or UEBA. You have to use AI to learn what normal employee behavior looks like, because that's the only way you'll ever flag these subtle anomalies.
Section 3, the supply chain trap, WordPress and the interconnected web. Let's talk about the domino effect.
Over 1 million. That is how many WordPress sites were just infected in one of the absolute worst supply chain attacks of 2026.
You can really see how rapidly this strategy is evolving. We had the massive SolarWinds breach, then Polyfill,
And now attackers have targeted Automotive CDN, the content delivery network that serves up files for countless websites. By hitting this central hub, they managed to inject malicious code directly into massively popular WordPress plugins. We're talking Opt-in Monster, Trust Pulse, Push Engage, the everyday tools everyone uses. If you run a WordPress site, you need to take action right now. Yes, the CDN itself was isolated by the vendor, but if your site doesn't have auto updates enabled, you are still running infected code. Update those specific plugins immediately, run a deep security scan with something like WordFence or Security, check for any rogue admin users the attackers might have quietly created, and reset all of your passwords.
Section 4, Consumer Tech Updates. Nintendo Switch 2, Firmware 22.5.0.
All right. Amidst all this heavy cyber doom and enterprise risk, we absolutely need a quick palate cleanser to lower our blood pressure. Nintendo just dropped firmware update 22.5.0. It proves they're still deeply committed to both the classic Switch and the new Switch 2. They're adding Dutch and Russian to the game chat speech-to-text feature, redesigning the eShop with a very handy 10-second video rewind, and finally adding mandatory PIN protections for in-app purchases. It's just a fantastic quality-of-life update.
Section 5. The Future of Cyber Defense. Building a Security Culture.
Okay, bringing it back to the serious stuff, this matrix perfectly synthesizes everything we've unpacked in this explainer. It maps the specific threat vectors directly to your primary actionable defenses. Restrict your AI data access to stop Copilot leaks. Put Cisco behind a VPN. Enforce least privilege on LitLM. These are the tactical steps you can take to protect your organization right now, today.
But taking a step back, this quote from the Tekken report really hits the nail on the head. Security isn't just a technical issue, it's a cultural one. You simply cannot buy a shiny new product to fix these multi-layered threats. When attackers are using your own legitimate cloud configurations and enterprise AI against you, the only real defense is building a culture of constant awareness, rigorous employee training, and active monitoring.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to consider for your own organization. We've seen today that the next major attack won't look like loud, obvious malware. It's going to look exactly like you doing your job, using your AI, and checking your email. So ask yourself, is your team's security culture actually ready for that? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Stay secure out there, and we'll see you next time.